I offer my most loving pranams at Swami's lotus feet. Brothers and sisters, Sairam to all of you. In this very trying and testing time for all Sai devotees, we are extremely grateful to our beloved Swami for sending one of his blessed messengers to our center here today. Massey is a Los Angeles-based filmmaker, but most importantly, he is an ardent Sai devotee. He has been blessed by Swami to travel around the world and witness his glorious divine mission unfold in many countries. He has also been blessed to stay at Prashant Nilayam between 2000 and 2002. He served as Swami's videographer, and around that time he made the film Hymns from the Vedas, which has been playing at the Chaitanya Jyoti Museum since its inauguration in 2001. He serves as the president of the Sathya Sai Baba Center of Hollywood in California. He is very active in their service projects. In fact, for the last 12 years, he has been conducting an EHP-based life skills class for teenage boys at a correctional facility there in Los Angeles. He is here to narrate as a witness what he has seen around the world, the imminent arrival of the golden age, and also narrate his transformative journey from the world of Hollywood to the world of our beloved Sai. I request you to please give a very loving welcome.
I need some space to back on the lady side. Please. Thank you.
Hello? Yeah? Swami, I pray my humble prayers that you speak through this body, and that I be a good instrument today. And I thank you for the opportunity to be part of your mission. Saram, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to be here today, because you can turn that down a little bit. Very, very grateful to be here today. I usually start off a talk by telling you that I'm not any sort of special person. I'm just somebody that's received a lot of grace, and I've had the good fortune to go around the world and see, as a cameraman, to see many of Swami's wonderful devotees and see much of his great work around the world and to document that. And really, all I really am is a witness, and I'm just somebody here that I'm not a VIP, maybe a very irritating person, but not any kind of VIP or anything. I'm just this. The talks I have found is actually part of my own transformation, and it helps me study Swami's teachings and become a better person. And I'm very grateful for that opportunity. I'm also grateful for Sundar for putting me up for a couple of days and giving me the opportunity to meet his wonderful wife, and beautiful children, and stay in his home, and I'm very grateful for that. Were it not for Sundar, I probably wouldn't be here today, so I'm very grateful for his hospitality and for your opportunity for to be here and to speak with you today. I know that all of us have been very, very sad. I know that at our meeting Tuesday night, we all cried and cried and cried. And I still cry, and I'm still very sad. And so I guess Swami has given me the opportunity to speak here as part of my healing, to give me the opportunity to do something in his mission, to help him in his mission. And so I'm still very sad, and I know many of you are, and I'm broken up about it. And so maybe I can encourage you by some of the things that I'm going to show you today, and maybe that will help uplift us a little bit to think about some of the things that Swami is doing. I can tell you that what I've seen has shown me that there is no stopping his mission because he has left the body. There are so many wonderful things going on around the world that there is really nothing that can stop the golden age now. There are 120 Sai schools. There are devotees. I noticed your list of service activities that was just up on the screen a minute ago. And it's like that all over the world right now. Everywhere you go, in Sai centers all over the world, there are lists of activities like that are demonstrating to the world Swami's mission and showing the world what Swami is all about. You know, he said that now you are my message. And that's something that we can all do now, is take up his mission with great enthusiasm and great fervor and go forward with his mission and do our very best to be the kind of people and the kind of examples that he would want us to be. I was raised a Christian, and I'm going to tell you a few things today about my background, how I came to Swami, and then I'm going to show you some PowerPoints and show you some movies of things that some of the films, short films, so you don't have to be inundated with too much material, but I'd like to show you a couple of short films that demonstrate Swami's mission in the world more than anything else. You know, up until now we've looked at a lot of darshan films and things like that, and now we should probably focus less on Swami's form. At least this is for me, focus less on his form and more on his mission and more on my own transformation. And so I'd like to tell you a little bit about how I came to Swami and how he's working with me to transform me into a better person. In 1975, a laboratory in Hollywood that was developing a film that I had made, and they were also developing a film from Dick Bach, the Aura of Divinity. And the lab technician was telling me about this man in India that was materializing things, and it appeared on the film that he was really doing that. He thought it was very strange. I said, I got to see that film. I know about that. I've just finished reading Life and Teachings of the Masters of the Far East, and I believe in that stuff. This guy's over there can do that, you know. And so I said, I want to see that film. And he said, I'm sorry, I can't show it to you. I said, well, can you tell me the guy's name or something that's got it? He said, yeah, his name's Dick Bach, and he gave me his phone number. And so I called up Dick Bach, and I said, I hear you've got a film about somebody named Sathya Sai Baba, and that actually can materialize things, and you got a film about that. He said, yes, we do. I said, how does anybody get to see that film? He said, we show it every Friday night. I said, you do? He said, yeah. He said, we have a meeting? And I said, a meeting? What kind of meeting? What kind of meeting? And he said, well, we have budgeons. What are budgeons? He said, well, we have a thing. And he described the meeting. I said, okay, yeah, I'll try to get over there sometime. And I never went. 5 years later, I had a blind date. And the young lady opened the door, and she was absolutely the most beautiful woman I'd ever seen in my life. I think I even inhaled. I took a gasp when I saw her. She opened the door. She was absolutely the most beautiful woman I ever saw in my life. And we discussed where do you want to go for the evening? And she said, would you like to go to the Sathya Bible Center? Sure. Whatever you want to go. I figured an hour wouldn't kill me. So we went to the Sathya Bible Center. And I walked in, and the ladies were on side, and the men were on side. And there was a guy up there that wasn't Jesus. And I remember thinking, I hope nobody sees me in here with these people. But they started singing bhajans, and I started sobbing like a baby. Sanskrit bhajans, and I didn't know what they meant. I didn't understand the words. I just started singing bhajans. Janet Bach was singing beautiful bhajans. And they were singing these bhajans, and I'm just sobbing, and tears rolling down my face. And then I really felt like, I hope nobody sees me in here with these people. But then they started, after the bhajans, they started talking about all their service projects. And they started describing, Sunday we're going to go and clean up an old lady's house. And she's too old to clean it up herself. We're going to feed the homeless, and we're going to go over to the nursing home. And they started talking about these wonderful processes. These are good people that are doing this kind of stuff, And they didn't pass a plate. They didn't take up a collection. When the meeting was over, they didn't come over and ask me if I was going to be one of them. Are you going to join us? They didn't try to sign me up. And they gave me a book of Swami's teachings. And they were so sweet. I said, these are not, a few years before I had gone to a church and I didn't have a suit. I was poor and I didn't have the money to have a suit. And I went to the church without a suit. And I was from Georgia, and so people looked at me like, you don't have a suit, And I thought, well, this is not God. This has anything to do with God. And I got really upset about it. I didn't go to church for years. And these people didn't care if I had a suit or not. They were just very, very sweet people. And so I began coming back on Friday evenings. I thought, this is pretty cool, The beautiful girl went to India, but I kept going to the center. And I particularly liked it because the center was Friday night from 8 to 10, and the nightclubs didn't start till about 10. So it was like perfect. I don't know what to do after that. And I did that for 7 years, and I began to get involved with the service projects. And that was my church. I thought, hey, this is my church. I go to this church. I like the way it smelled. I had this what do you call it? Incense, yeah. And you get old, you start losing remembering. But anyway, I liked it very much, and the people were very sweet. And I got involved with Dick Bach, filming some things over in the Hopi land. I worked on some films with him. I filmed Pistol Up and a few other things. And then in '88, they said, do you want to go to India? And a little light went off, that light that goes off when Swami calls you. And I went with a group to India. I had 3 or 4 different ways to purify water. I had 6 different kinds of insect repellent. I was very prepared. I thought this is going to be, I stayed in the shed, and I had an interview. And in that interview, Swami talked a lot about the Father. He would go, and the Father, and I began to realize that, well, yeah, people talked about him being God, but he's talking about the Father. So I said, well, yeah, that's cool. He's talking about the Father, because in Christianity, it's the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost, So the Father is cool, And so I really was very impressed. He was materializing things and everything. And then I'm going to show you something. All you people that came yesterday over to East Brunswick. Hope you don't mind me telling this again. This is an aluminum bookmark. This is an aluminum bookmark that Indra Devi gave me in 1980. And I carried it in my wallet all that time. And I was on my knees like this, and I was the last one out of the interview room. I kind of stuck around for a minute while everybody else left. And Swami looked at me like, yes. And I showed him this bookmark, hoping he would bless it. Or maybe turn it into gold or something, you know. And I handed it to him, and he looked at it for no more than about a second, and then he threw it back at me. He took two fingers and he just slung it at me like that. And he said in a voice that even today I can't really imitate, that was so cutting that it cut through me like a knife. He said, keep it with you. Keep it with you. Like I was a bad dog or something. Which I was at the time. But it so cut through my heart that he would speak to me that way. He had been so sweet to everybody else, and he talked to me like a dog. And it was cruel, and the way that he said it was really cruel. I mean, keep it with you. And I couldn't believe that he spoke to me that way. And so it haunted me for months. Can I get a little Kleenex out of here? Just getting over a little. There you go. There we go. Thank you. 5 months later, I had been haunted by the way that he spoke to me. He must be a bad person. It must be my ego. What is he trying to tell me? Why would he talk to me that way? You know, I couldn't understand. I just kept thinking about it. And one day, 5 months later, I was trying to get a package to FedEx, and I had about 10 minutes to get there. And my secretary was putting this package together, and I said, put that there. And she imitated me. She said, put that there. And it hit me. The way that Swami had spoken to me was the way that I spoke to people sometimes. And I realized it, and I went home and I sobbed and sobbed and sobbed. And I realized that he knew who I was, and he knew my greatest flaw. My greatest flaw was the way I spoke to people. You know, really, all Swami really wants from us more than anything else is for us to be sweet. You know, that's really all he wants, is for us to be sweet and love one another, be kind. You know, and here I was talking to people like a dog. And so in 2 seconds, he knew me, and from that, I mean, he could have come over in the interview room and said, you know, it'd be better if you spoke sweetly to people, you know. And I said, oh yes, Mommy, I'll be glad to do that, you know. But it would not have had the impact, and it would not have made me realize how well he knew me in 2 seconds, my greatest flaw, and how much he let me think about it for 5 months before I corrected myself. Now, unfortunately, I'm still not cured, and I'm going to give you an example. A couple of months ago, I was in a restaurant, and I had ordered a salad, a very nice, looked on the menu like a very good salad. It had candied walnuts, and it had some goat cheese and some beets, and a lot of nice little things in the salad, and it was $10. We were in a rather nice place, you know. And so the salad came, and it was just a pile of lettuce. There were no candied walnuts. I think there was one little fleck of a piece of goat cheese. And it made me, you know, this is not what I ordered, you know. And I had a long day. It was one of those things, you know. We had a long day and tired and hungry. And so the waiter came back, and I held the plate up to him. I said, "Would you pay $10 for this salad?" Failed. I could have said, "Sir, I don't think it has all the ingredients that I saw in the menu." So I'm not cured. I'm just using this as an example to show you how much Swami knows about us and how he's working to transform us to be sweet people. and how sometimes difficult, how difficult that can sometimes be. Well, over the course of the years, between 88 and 2000, I had had a few interviews. I went with Irving Goldstein's group one year. That's Michael Goldstein's father. Irving was like my father. We went everywhere together. He was a great old guy. I loved him. When he died, I cried for 3 days. He was just great. And I went with him and had a wonderful time. Several interviews. And then in 2000, somebody called me, and I began to get involved in the service activities of the centers. But I got involved in such a way that's not proper, because I got involved in the service to say that I could do service. I got involved in the service to enhance the ego rather than to get rid of it. Oh yeah, I do service. I work in the homeless shelter. I take the food downtown. You see this car here? I carry devotees everywhere I go. On Mondays I take the soup over to the poor feeding. I was approaching it the wrong way. The way that Swami says not to do it. You do it as if you're serving God, not to enhance the ego. So in 2000. I got an opportunity, they called. They knew I was a film director in Hollywood. I was making a ton of money working for Callaway Golf. I did the Callaway Golf commercials for about 8 years, and I managed to save about $1 million in the bank. And they called me and they said, you're a Hollywood film director, would you like to make a film for Swami? I said, sure, why don't you do that? He said, you're going to get an interview with Swami. He's going to tell you all about it. They want a film for the new museum, and they want you to go there and talk to him about doing the film. I'd be delighted to. So I went there, and whereas before I had always sat in the back of the hall like everybody else, I got special treatment, and I sat 2 or 3 seats from his door, and Swami came out and went, when did you come? He was so sweet, and I had 6 interviews in 2 weeks, and he gave me so much grace. He made this ring for me, and I made over the next 9 months, I studied the Vedas, and I worked very hard to make a film called a creation film. And just to give you an example of how the mind works, one night I was coming back from working about an 18-hour day, and it was about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was driving home from the editing room, and I remember thinking, I hope Swami appreciates what I'm doing for him. This is the ego. This is how this works. And so I had all this money in the bank, and here Swami had given me all this grace, and here I was thinking I was a big shot. And I made a film, and everybody thought I was the greatest thing, the Vedas and everything. Scholars were coming, Vedic scholars were coming over to tell me how good it was. And so the ego got a little bit bigger than Texas. And I was the kind of fellow that had a lot of money in the bank. Jesus said, it'd be easier to get a camel through a needle than it would be for a rich man to get into heaven. And this is what he was talking about, because all that money, my main concern, I thought nothing of spending $500 for dinner. I'd take friends out and spend $500 for dinner. I was very concerned about getting a window table. You don't have a window table for me? I called ahead of time. This is the kind of fellow that I was. I was mainly concerned about being famous, having my name on a film that I directed. I thought I was a doer. You could just tick off a list of things that are far from Swami's teachings, and that was me. What do you think Swami's got to do with a guy like that? And claims he's a devotee. Right? Devotee. Well, we'll have to keep work on you. A guy like that would require quite a bit of work, don't you think? And so what he did with me was, first you got to get rid of all that money. because that's attached. You're attached to that. You know, Jesus said to the man that was a rich man that came to him and said, "Lord, what do I do to inherit eternal life?" He said, "Come with me right now." Well, I've got these things, you know, I've got to take care of. I'm a wealthy guy. I've got some affairs I need to put in. No, you don't understand. Come with me now. You won't need 2 coats if you want to follow me. You see, that's what he's talking about. And so here you got a guy with $1 million in the bank and wanting a window table and wasting his money on fancy dinners, and that has come into Swami's fold through the grace through his unfathomable grace. Even so, he brought me in to fix me. You know, they probably could have just taken me out back and shot me, but Swami said, "No, we're going to see if we can fix this guy." And so, first thing you got to do is get rid of all that money. So I lost all my money in the stock market in 2000. I had all internet stocks. Some of them were $90, and they went to 3 cents. You know, I lost most of my money. And then I had been, starting in 2000, I got to shoot Swami's discourses and things. All of a sudden, I was Swami's cameraman. And I was walking around, I was from people, "Are you Swami's?" "Yeah, I'm Swami's cameraman." I get your DVD, don't worry. I got connections. And so I got fired from the cameraman. I lost all my money. I got fired as a cameraman. The girl that I love with all my heart left me. The money ran out, and so did she. So he says, the pond dries up and all the frogs go away. And I didn't know that you could hurt that bad. I didn't know that you could really suffer that much, without losing your limbs or something, or getting cancer. I didn't know you could hurt that bad inside. All the things that came down on me, lost all my money, I lost my client that was bringing in the money, I lost the girl I loved, I lost this, I lost that, and Swami fired me. And so what am I going to do? Well, Swami always leaves the window open if he shuts the door. And they asked me to go to Africa to film the Sai service projects in Africa. And so, and they bought me a ticket. I said, I don't have any more money, And they bought me a ticket. And I began to go to 9 countries in Africa over a period of a couple of months. It was a long trip, and I went all over Africa, 9 countries, and I saw Sai schools, Sai service activities, real Sai devotees, not people that say, I'm a devotee, but people that were really out there really doing service. And in Africa, there's plenty of service to do. You don't have to do like we do sometimes and try to find a homeless shelter somewhere. It's everywhere in Africa. There's plenty of opportunities for service, and they were doing it. And I met people that were very, very wealthy, that were only using their wealth the way it should be used in the service of their fellow man. I began to see beautiful service projects, beautiful Sai centers that millionaires had spent their $1 million building. So you go to Nairobi, Kenya, and see the Sai Center in Nairobi. You'll never forget it. It's got Swami's bedroom and Swami's living quarters on the top. It's got an atrium filled with Swami's life, his pictures. It's got a clinic, a free clinic in the shelter with the paid full-time doctors in there treating people. Food, a kitchen, a huge hotel-sized kitchen so they could feed people. I began to see things like that. And I began to film starving people in what they call, over there, they call them informal settlements. And here we would call them a slum, but there they call them informal settlements because the people were living in a piece of cardboard. People were living in a cardboard thing. And I filmed babies that were starving to death, all shriveled up with sores all over their body. I filmed a boy who died of AIDS while I was filming. I got in a lot of trouble for that, but I was filming and the boy died. His mother sobbing and everything. And that changes you. I was at the Sai school in Kenya, in the Massey country, and I said, what does it cost to go to school here for a year? And they said, well, you can see room and board, uniforms, food, and the Sai education, about $500. And I began thinking, let's see, $500 a year? Or Gene having a fancy dinner, which is better? Let me see. And so I began to see things like that you could, instead of having a fancy dinner, a child go to school for a year. You could send a teacher to teach for a year for only $2,000. You can donate, and they can hire a teacher who will teach for a year, and the kind of teacher that uses part of her salary to buy shoes for the children. I began to see things like that. Teachers, when these kids don't have any shoes, how can you not buy them shoes? So I live in a little simple place, and I met teachers that were genuine, filled with Sai love. I met people just filled with Swami's teachings and caring. And so Swami took everything away and said, let me show you how you should be. Let me show you some real devotees. Not Sunday morning, go to the homeless shelter, make your ego bigger devotee, but a real devotee. And so I began to see things like that. And I eventually went, over a period of several years, I went all over Australia, 9 countries in South America, went to Russia. I met people like Dr. Upadhyaya, who's about as close to a saint as you can come. I met wonderful people that were using all of their resources in Swami's mission. And it has changed me. And now I'm showing some of these films and talking about them, and I'm constantly thinking about Swami, and I've gotten involved in his mission, and that's really all I care about now. And so, I'm not done. Don't let me think that I'm done, because he's still working on me, and I've got a long way to go. But basically, what Swami, in his infinite, unfathomable mercy, can take a person and change it through, if they want to be changed, and if they have the desire to be part of his mission. That's the beauty of his mission, is that while you're involved in it, not only do you help the world, but you change in your own heart and become a better person. So that's where I am now, and I really want to be, now that he's passed, and his body's not with us, and I can't say hello to him anymore. I want to thank him for everything that he's done for me, changing my heart, and try to be a really good devotee and be a great contributor to his mission with whatever resources I could ever get, or whatever I could ever do. I want to do that just to be part of his mission, because he's twisted something in here that's changed, so that I don't care a whit about $500 dinner anymore. I really don't. And or a window table. And I'm very grateful for everything that he's done to me, and I'm going to try to do my best to make up for it, for everything that he's given me. And so that's pretty much my story. Now I want to get into the mission of Swami's mission, and I'd like to show you some things that are really absolutely students that they saw. That is the power of a Sai school. I'll give you another example. The devotees in Lagos, Nigeria, which is a very difficult place. Anybody here know Lagos? Anybody ever been to Lagos? It's a real tough place. I was in Nairobi, and the family I stayed with had just been carjacked with assault weapons, and they took their car, and they were worried about me going to Lagos. And I said, is it really that bad? And they said, well, we wouldn't go there. The devotees in Lagos decided that they would start a Sai school, and so they went into the most difficult, I'll say informal settlement, but again, we would call it a slum, in the worst section of Lagos, and they had a room, which is maybe about the size of this room, in the back of a church, that the church let them use to start their school, and they divided it up with pieces of cardboard and little tiny benches into 6 classrooms, and they began teaching the children in this informal settlement a Psi education. And one day, a little boy brought his mother to school, and the teacher said, "Well, why did you bring your mother to school?" And the little boy said, "Well, she told a lie." And the devotees had prepared packages for each family, and one little boy had brought his mother, insisting that she return the package, a food package, and the teacher said, "No, that's for you. You can keep that package." And the little boy said, "No, she can't." And the teacher said, "Well, why not?" He said, "Because she took 2." So you see, that's the kind of Psi education. Kids are growing up that way. I'm sure many of you have heard about the school in Zambia. I've been there 5 times now. I can tell you that the future of Africa is in that school. It's the most wonderful school, I think, in the history of mankind. Victor and Genevieve Kanu are doing wonderful work there with those students. Really, really wonderful work, and they're coming out to be great, and they have different faiths. Another thing about the Psi school is it teaches the children the appreciation of all faiths. Many communities do not want a Psi school at first. What do you mean it's free? You want to make Hindus out of our kids? Is that what you want? They have great skepticism when they start the Psi schools in a certain community. I'll give you an example. In Indonesia, which is a Muslim country, they started the Psi school. And after a period of they started a Psi school, and they came to the guy. This guy built a building, put such a Psi school in front of it, and said he wanted to start the school, ready to bring the students in there. The Muslim mullahs came in and said, "Well, first of all, you can only teach a Muslim education. We don't have anything else. This is a Muslim country, and we're Muslims, and these children are Muslims, and that's the only thing you teach here. And the second thing is that you can't call it a Sathya Psi school." And he was heartbroken. But he remembered what Swami had told him. It's not about promoting me, it's about promoting the teachings. And so he went ahead with it at a Muslim school. After 1 year, they came to him and they said, "You know what, we've been thinking you can call it the Psi school." So that's how Swami is working. He's working through the heart. He's changing our heart. And you're seeing many, many examples like that. How much time have I got left? How much time have I got left? Another 45 minutes? Okay. I'm going to show you something that we put together that's a tough one to see. I'll say it was tough for me to see because I was raised in a Christian environment, and God was a guy up there. He didn't have any. I was a miserable sinner, and God was up there watching. That's the way that I learned my faith. And so here Swami comes and says that we are God. And for me, that was a tough one to swallow. If I'm God, how come everybody doesn't treat me like God? I hate to tell you that I'm not God. They don't treat me like God. But we're going to talk about that too, about how to be treated like God and how to I'm going to put something on here that would show you. So I want to just get into this. Let me just take a few seconds. These are all Swami's exact quotes. And can you forward it when I answer you? There is only one creator. There's only one, and everything came out of this one. As a matter of fact, the entire creation came from this one. Okay, you can go to the next one. You yourself are the divine principle. You are endowed with immense divine power. Well, I'm not so sure about it. I don't feel like I got all that power, How come? Those are my doubts, my mind speaking. You are the God of this universe. You are creating the whole universe and drawing it in. And then go to the next one. In fact, nothing in this world is real. All the forms are creations of the mind. Now, we've all heard that. We've heard the law of attraction. We've heard all sorts of things. Swami said to me, and this is a good one, Swami said to me in an interview, there is no creation, only projection. It's all being projected from within you. Now, the hard part for me was to understand that, well, not really, because those guys are doing that over there. How am I projecting that? Well, we're projecting it together. Swami said, I separated myself from myself so that I could love myself. And he's divided himself into us, basically. Okay, you go to the next one. It's the mind. It gives form to the perceptions got from the senses. In other words, you may see one thing and somebody else may see the same thing and perceive it differently because it's your mind that's actually perceiving it. It's created by your own inner consciousness. Everything is appearance. Something mistaken to be there but really non-existent. I'm not really here. I promise you, I'm in your mind. Next. All these things you see around you are your own reflections, as if in a mirror. Just take a second to read this. We need not go anywhere in search of gods to a different place. God is in us, with us, above us. In fact, you are God. Your mind alone is responsible for your own joy or sorrow. I can't tell you how disappointing this was to me. To know that I'm the cause of it. There's nobody that I can blame. I can't blame the government. I can't blame my boss. I can't blame other people. Everything that I'm involved in is actually from within. That's very disappointing. I'm being facetious. Okay. Everything you see is present in you. All beings are in you. You're the basis of everything. Now, how come that person's not treating me nice then? Why is that person not loving me? Right? That's a big one, right? They're in me. So what Swami says, if that quality was not in you, we see something we don't like in another person. He says if that quality was not in you, you would not be able to perceive it in the other person. So I've developed a little thing that I can say sometimes. That quality that person has is the thing I least like about myself. And that's a good thing to say. If somebody's acting a certain way, you say, you know what? That quality in me I don't like. I should probably do my best to change that. Once you know this, you can start acting on it. If you don't know this, you're innocent. Right? Say, hey, God did it. Swami did it. I didn't do it. Swami did it. Right? No. The truth is, Swami's in you. And I got another one to show you in a minute. It's really ridiculous. Okay, next one. Everything is of your own making. These are wonderful passages. In fact, there's nothing other than you. There's nothing other than you. You think you're sitting next to somebody else. It's in your mind, according to what Swami says. Okay? All the good and bad you come across are just your own reflections. Do not point an accusing finger at others. That's hard to do, because some people are just not behaving right. If you are good, so too will the world be. In fact, it is your own evil which is reflected outside. If your feelings are divine, you will find divinity everywhere. Okay. Your thought vibrations. Thought vibrations. The entire world is suffused with mental vibrations. It's necessary to direct our thoughts on noble paths. Now, this is something that you can do. You can choose what you think about, basically. You can think about what happened at work. How could he talk to me that way? How could my husband be this crazy? Why is my wife insisting that I do this? I mean, you can get into all sorts of things like that. But what it really boils down to is, why don't you think about what's good? You know, there's a story of Swami, this is a good one. Swami asked someone, he said, what is it like just before darshan when I come out? And the person said, oh, Swami, it's just so quiet, it's beautiful. We're expecting you to come out, oh, we're just thrilled. And we're sitting there in great anticipation of you to come out and darshan. So he said, what happens if a baby starts crying? I said, Swami, that kind of ruins the whole thing. You know, you hear this baby whang, whang, and that kind of like ruins the whole thing. And Swami says, well, life is like that. He says, there's so much good, and yet you concentrate on the baby crying. The darshan silence is still there, but you concentrate on that baby. And life is like that. He said, there is so much more good. Swami said this, there's so much more good than bad, but you look at the bad. You concentrate on the bad. If you think about it on the news it'll find the 10 bad things to put on the news. You know, look what this guy did, right? And you think that's bad. Well, look at this guy. He's really bad. But, you know, and the newspapers are full of just bad stuff. That's why Swami says, don't watch television. Don't get involved in all that, you know. Go do service. Go look at someone lovingly instead and smile and help brighten their day. And you can actually physically choose to not think about the bad. I do an exercise, you know, I teach in a prison with teenage boys. And I get them to close their eyes, and I have them think about the time they got arrested. And then I have them think about when they get out. I said, now think about the time you got arrested or you got beat up or something, you know. And now think about the time that you were having a good time at the beach. Imagine, just close your eyes and think about a good time at the beach. How do you feel? Feel pretty good, right? Now think about the time they arrested you, they threw you in jail, they talked to you like a dog. How do you feel now? So you can choose which one of these you think about. And the boys go, well, yeah, you know. And so we can do that too. We can walk around and we can only talk about the good, and we can say wonderful things to each other, and we can think about what Swami's brought in the world and how we're part of his mission, and we can think about how we get to come here today and talk about Swami. We can think about all these wonderful things and not pay any attention to all that other bad stuff. Okay, next one. Once we purify our heart, we find purity everywhere. If you fill your heart with love, you will experience love everywhere. Hi, how are you? Nice to see you. Right? I got to tell you, the past few days, I haven't experienced anything but love. I was over in East Brunswick. I'm here everywhere I go. People are so devotees. It's like your long lost family. And coming so filled with love everywhere you go. And I've been all over the world, and they welcome me like their long lost relative they haven't seen in years, and they're so glad to see me. You're part of that. See? That's what we can think about. Whatever you see is only a reflection. Fill your heart with love. You'll experience love everywhere. Okay? Love is your true nature. That's the way you really are. That's the essence of us inside. That's what we really are. Nothing can exist without it. Other than love, nothing is permanent. You are the embodiment of love. You're craving for mundane things. That's going to be the next PowerPoint in a minute. I'm going to show you about that. What you have to aspire for, what you have to experience and enjoy is love and love alone. That's what Swami's message. Love all, serve all. That's what it's all about. That's all it is, really. Okay. Is that it? Change your attitude, and you will see good in everything. Even when you find yourself in trouble, say to yourself, this is good for me. I'm telling you, the troubles that I've had, a month ago I had a notice on my door, pay the rent or get out. This is wait a minute, you don't understand, I was a millionaire. I was a millionaire. I had $1 million. $1 million in my checking account. 800,000, let's be honest. I had $800,000 in my checking account. And they got a notice on my door, pay the rent or get out. Right? Fortunately, the next day I got an investment in my business. But everything that happens for you is good. See? You look at it and say, whoa, Swami's got a good one here for me. Pay the rent or get out. That's interesting. Right? All the things that happen to you are good for you. God resides in all beings. Speak such words as would spread goodness, truth, and beauty. Would you pay $10 for this salad? I'm not doing that all the time. You know, I need to work on that. Expand yourselves. Expand into universal love. That's the path which will bring out the divinity in you to the fullest. In other words, if we love enough, we'll become divine. Oh, I think that's the last one. No. Nothing but our own creation. Projection of the mind. We did that already. Okay. Now I've got an even better one. The next one is kind of like the next PowerPoint is an
we want to grow our love and shrink our wants.
So the problem here, as I see it, and as Swami sees it, is there is a divinity in us. It's a little divinity right now. And the reason for that is the body. The body is the problem. It certainly is for me, because the body wants to hear magnificently beautiful things. Gene, you're wonderful. Gene, this. It wants to hear beautiful music. It wants to hear beautiful things. These eyes want to see beautiful things. Bring me beautiful things that these eyes can experience. This mouth, this tongue right here. Ooh. Swami said if you can control the tongue, the rest is easy. Right? The tongue wants to be more craving. Desires. Ooh, I got desires like you wouldn't believe. Right? We crave things. We want all these things to come this direction. I want that here. I want that. This body wants that. This body wants that. This body wants that. Bring that here. So this body can experience that as we go through the day. This body wants you to be sweet to it. Right? Treat me with love. This body wants. Well, what do you do about that? I want pizza. I want a new car. I want all these. I want. Reminds me of that Peter Lorre movie where he says, "More, yeah, that's it, more." The old black and white movie, the old Lorre movie. Okay, next one. Wait a second. Look at this. There's some service projects in here. Somebody took away a couple of the things. We're doing service here instead of that other thing, right? You still got a couple of things coming here, but you've got the direction, instead of the direction coming this way, you've got the direction going that way. In a couple of instances, I'm going to go and I'm going to do a service project. I'm going to go and do a couple of good things. I want to feed the poor, right? I'm going to let the flow, instead of it always going this way, I'm going to let it go that way a little bit, right? And look what I get from that. God gets bigger in me, right? Okay, go to the next one. Now, I'm doing more. God gets bigger. And if you'll notice, the pizza's gone. Right? It's getting, Swami in me is getting much bigger without pizza. I'm doing more projects. I'm concerned about people like this. Right? I'm helping the helpless. I'm doing service projects. I'm doing more. The flow is going that direction instead of it coming this direction. And you know what? All of a sudden, people are treating me like God. You go to the nursing home and you help a little old lady write a letter to her relatives back in Maryland or something, you know? And she's so sweet to you. Oh, thank you. I'm so grateful for you to come to this today. Thank you. She'll treat you like God. Right? You help a homeless guy. Let me tell you a couple of things about, a couple of really good stories about doing service. This is off the subject a little bit. Dr. Upadhyaya, the famous ophthalmologist in London, he's God for me. He does nothing but service. Everywhere he goes is being part of Swami's mission. He goes all over the world. He's probably done 20,000 cataract operations in remote sections where he was actually concerned for his life. I mean, he's really he worked with Mother Teresa 14 years before he even came to Swami. He's a great man. Well, they called him in London. He lives in London. They called him in London one day and they said, Surrender, we got a problem. We got a guy that's going to commit suicide. I said, what? Yeah, the guy lost his wife. He's broken-hearted. He's depressed. He's lost his job. He's going to kill himself. He said, can you talk to him? He said, yeah, I'll be willing to talk to him. Send him right over. So the guy comes over. His name's Bob. Bob comes over and he says, yeah, I pretty much decided I'm going to kill myself. And I thought about it. You're not going to be able to talk me out of it. Don't even try. I don't have anything to live for anymore. And Dr. Upadhyaya says, well, I understand that. You've got a tough, it sounds pretty tough. But I wondered if you could do me a favor. He said, what? He said, I wondered if you could put it off for 30 days. He said, why? He said, well, we got this situation in Bosnia. This is the time of Bosnia. So we got this situation in Bosnia where these people are starving to death. We've got a semi-tractor trailer truck full of food, and we don't have anybody that'll drive it through this area where they're dropping the bombs because it's too dangerous. And since you were going to kill yourself anyway. Just do it. They said, no one is willing to drive this truck full of food to these starving people. And Bob said, I'm willing to do that. Sure. So Bob they showed Bob how to drive this semi, and he drove the truck through this very, very dangerous area and got the food to these people. And they carried him around. Thank you, you're brave. Thank you, want to marry my daughter, They were so happy. And Bob did it again. He went back and got another truck and drove it in there. He didn't want to kill himself anymore, by the way, because he found himself through service. It can save your life if you do service. I got another story for you. This is about a man who was in Miami. His name was Victor. He was a corporate raider. He would go in and buy a company and loot it for everything of value in the company, including its pension plans. He would take people's pension money. Well, that's against the law, and he finally got caught at it, and he was convicted. And the judge said, Victor, I've decided that since you're 82, we're going to let you do community service. Oh, thank you, Your Honor, thank you. Oh, wait a minute. 8 hours a day, 7 days a week, for the rest of your life, and the first day you miss, you're going to federal penitentiary. So all of a sudden, Victor was in the food line, feeding starving homeless people. Oh, thank you, sir. God bless you. I hadn't had anything to eat in 3 days. Thank you so much. With tears in their eyes. It changed his heart. He started building homeless shelters. He started, we get better food than this. Let's give him some food in here, you know. It changed his heart to see that. See? There's nothing that can turn you into God faster than what Swami has told us to do. Go, love all, serve all, help all, do something to help your fellow man, and you'll be God. And they'll treat you like God. They treated Bob like God, right? They'll treat you like God if you become God and do what God would do to help everybody. That's it for that part. Now, I want to tell you how lucky we are to be part of this. I want to show you something else. This Psyche Shore is working on with us right there. One of your best devotees here. I want to show you something. I think I can even sit down here and show you this since I have to mess with it. This is a website just to give you an example of how great the mission is going to be. It's becoming greater and greater by the moment. This is a website. Let me see if I can make that a little bit bigger. No, it makes it too big. Okay. Let's see. If you'll notice, there's a globe in the center, and there are little dots on the globe. Well, you're going to be able to go to this website, which is not done yet. You're going to be able to go to this website and spin it anywhere in the world, like this. Right? You can spin this globe anywhere in the world. Find the spot that you're looking for to do service, and you will be able to find a little dot somewhere, and you'll find the map. I want to show you Los Angeles, where most of the service in the United States is going on. Just kidding, just kidding. But you'll be able to find this, and then what you'll be able to see when you click on it is you'll be able to see all about that service project. It will say the Flushing Sci Center projects. It will list the project, all about the details. You'll be able to watch this video on your project. Everybody is a cameraman now. I don't know if you've noticed. That's why I'm out of work. Everybody's a cameraman. You'll be able to upload your video of your service project. You'll be able to see the details on it. You'll be able to know how the other people can sign up. So this is going to be the International Psi Organization's website, excuse me, for these types of service projects. So that's just one thing that's going to be happening in the Golden Age, which is coming any minute. And we're part of it. You're part of something truly, truly wonderful, magnificent. several hundred years from now, they will look back on this time as the time of the birth of the Golden Age. Now, you're probably saying, if this is the Golden Age, why does my husband talk that way? Or my wife, or whatever, my boss. Well, here's why. Because when a baby is born, and you look at the baby right then, you go, ew, that baby is, I can't imagine that baby as being a college graduate. See? And that's what we have now. We have the birth, which is not always pretty. And right now, everything is, Swami has had the baby. We're all part of this creative nuclear reaction, this critical mass that has occurred, that Swami brought, and this is what's going to happen in the world. You're going to see. Everybody's thinking about it now. Everybody's, the way that, between social media and the internet and news media, and we've never been able to absorb so much material, and everybody has realized that a $500 dinner is not where it's at. And some people haven't realized that yet. I say everybody. Maybe some people haven't realized that yet. But everybody's realizing that more joy comes from a guy saying, "Thank you, God help you, sir. God bless you. I haven't had anything to eat for 3 days." You get a feeling of knowing you're helping somebody, right? And so that's what you're part of, and that's what the Avatar has gifted us with. And so the fact that he's left this body, he did his job. And by the way, let me tell you a little story. Has anybody heard the story about Dr. Kasturi and the little baby? Swami said the couple came with a little baby. And Swami said, called Dr. Kasturi in and said, I've got a couple coming today, and they have a little baby. I want you to be sure to see that couple and the little baby. And Swami said, Kasturi said, yes, sir. Swami, I'll be glad to. So the couple came, and they had a little tea with Kasturi, and he met the couple and saw the baby and everything. And he came back and saw Swami later. So I said, did you see the couple? I said, yes, Swami. He said, did you see the baby? He said, yes, Swami, I saw the baby. Very nice baby. He said, but Swami, we didn't really know why you wanted me to meet with them. And Swami said, you saw the baby? He said, yes. He said, that's your future husband. That's Prema's father. Prema-Sa's father. You know, Kasturi is going to be Swami's mother. You know that. So I got to thinking, wait a second, Kasturi died in 87, and so it's been, so if that was the baby and that was Kasturi's, if that was Prema-Sa's father, that baby was Prema-Sa's father, then he was born then, Kasturi died in 87, so this is 2010, it's 25 years later. Swami's going to live another 10 years. The math is not right. He'll be 35 years old when Prema's signed for him. That can't be right. Swami didn't live another 10 years. The parents are 25 now. So it's perfect math now. Swami left, coming back as Prema's side. It's all perfect. So we don't need to worry. He's coming back as Prema's side. And when he comes back as Prema's side, let's have something to show him. You see my list here. I get carried away. I want to show you a film, just for fun. Hislop has come back. John Boehner, I spoke to the young adults in Mexico City last weekend, and John Boehner was there, and we were having dinner, and he said, Hislop's back. He was 4 years old. I said, what? I said, I can't tell you. I said, what? No. He says, Hislop is 4 years old, and I can't tell you what country he's in. Okay, can you give me any information on it? I said, well, how do you know he's Hislop? He said, well, his mother had a dream. I said, oh boy, okay. His mother had a dream, and she took him, that he was Hislop, and she took the child to a Buddha party, and the little boy stood up in darshan when Swami came by and said, "Swami, it's me! Where's my cross?" So they're pretty sure he's Hislop. You know, he's been saying things that only Hislop would know. And he's 4 years old, and I think he's living somewhere in South America since John Mayer told me. I want to show you a couple of films. And this first one is about Swami's mission. You're all doctors, right? You have to be a doctor to be a side devotee, right? Okay. So this is a film I made with Dr. Reddy, and he actually helped me make it. And it's about Swami's medical mission. And it's just for fun to show you all the good things that are going on around the world and in the world of medicine. So let me see if I can get this going right. It's about 8 minutes. They have no one to turn to. They can be found all over the world, whether in modern cities or in distant lands. They are unable to afford even basic medical care, and in many remote areas, even if these patients could pay, there is no care available. There are many people now in many lands who have this great need for medical care. They wait patiently for someone to ease their pain. Sathya Sai Baba has said that there are many people who cannot afford the costs of medical treatment. Doctors should render free service to such persons. This concept of free medical care for everyone, as taught by Sathya Sai Baba, originated in India, where he has established advanced super specialty hospitals offering free treatment for everyone. Sathya Sai Baba's modern hospitals are known to many as temples of healing, and they are providing a level of care found elsewhere only in the world's most advanced hospitals in major cities. And yet, the medical care in Sathya Sai Baba's hospitals is provided completely free of cost to everyone. Following the principles taught by Sathya Sai Baba that we should help ever, hurt never, and love all and serve all, the Sathya Sai organization in India has been engaged in free medical camps for many years. Every year, these camps have provided free medical care to over 1 million people. Now, doctors and other volunteers are working through the Sathya Sai organization to deliver absolutely free medical care worldwide, whether in their own neighborhoods or by traveling to remote parts of the world. With love and compassion, they work to ease the suffering of all those in pain. Sathya Sai Baba has offered these words of guidance to doctors. It is your good fortune that you have become doctors. Sacrifice is the hallmark of a true doctor. So doctors should have the spirit of sacrifice. They should be compassionate and considerate towards the poor. The foremost quality of a doctor is the spirit of sacrifice. It is in this spirit of sacrifice that doctors and others working through the Sathya Sai organization travel to remote locations throughout the world, offering free medical care to those in need. Sathya Sai Baba says that doctors should infuse courage in the patients and speak soothingly. While you are examining the patients, doctors should have smiling faces and talk to the patients sweetly, radiating compassion and love. The compassion and love offered by the Sathya Sai doctors and volunteers serves to uplift the patients and is beneficial to the process of healing. Sathya Sai Baba has said that free medical camps should also include animals. In accordance with this, these camps often include the treatment of all types of animals. In addition to domestic pets, Sathya Sai veterinarians and volunteers also treat farm animals as well as instruct their owners on preventative care. Sathya Sai Baba teaches us to love all and serve all, and help ever, hurt never. Following his teachings, the free medical care from these Sathya Sai doctors and volunteers is offered selflessly and with love and compassion. Every year, throughout the world, across 6 continents, the Sathya Sai organization is serving millions who are in dire need of free medical care. This great work being done by Sathya Sai doctors and volunteers is inspiring others to join in this mission of self-sacrifice and use their God-given talents in the service of their fellow man. For as Sathya Sai Baba tells us, in serving man, we are serving God.
Okay, you got one more.
Got one more I want to tell you about. Let's see, where is that? Now, you know what Swami really likes is if you do something for a long time, if you do service for a long period of time, in Los Angeles, we have some people that go down on Thanksgiving and feed the homeless. And that's nice, but what really is needed is when it's not Thanksgiving, and what's really needed is when it's done and you do it for years and years and years, and don't ever give it. Don't do something and do it forever. That's what Swami likes. He doesn't like to just go, have one thing, and that was nice, but do it a lot. Now, this particular service is Jagadishan Center. And Jagadishan has a center in his home in Kuala Lumpur that has been doing this service for about 15 years. And what they do is they go to a mental hospital, the kind where you have patients like this that are absolutely incapacitated, totally just pitiful is really the only word for it. Many of whom are lying in their own excrement. And it's just, I filmed this, I couldn't believe that they were doing this service. It was the most incredible service I've ever seen. And as Jagga says, we are followers of the Avatar. Shouldn't we be doing some really magnificent service? Shouldn't we think of something that we can do that is worthy of the name, Sathya? So this is what they are doing. And I'm going to just skip through it so you don't have to watch the whole thing. I just want to show you a couple of shots from it. This is the kind of situation that you would see there quite frequently. You turn the audio off on this. You turn the audio down, way down. It's just a background. These are the kind of patients, unfortunate patients. And it's a big hospital. This is just one little hospital, one little place in the hospital. The devotees, a whole bunch of them would go. And these are very pitiful patients. Now what they would do is, they would pick them up, and they would take them to give them a bath. That'd be the first thing they would have to do. They'd take them in to the bathroom, and then take their clothes off, and then wash them. They would actually go in and wash them, wash their hair, get them all cleaned up. And just to give you an example of just how long they've been doing this, the former president of the Hollywood Center, that's his father, doing it now, and he himself did it as a boy. He was there doing this as a child. And then after they clean the people, they actually clean the beds. Obviously the beds need cleaning.
We dry it, after that we wipe with soap. The first person, one pail, we have soap water, we wipe with soap.
They clean that. Then of course they want to feed them, so they cook lunch there in the facility. They make a very nice lunch, and then they feed them all. And what's really funny is they have never let them film so much as a snapshot before. We don't allow any pictures in here. They tried to take a picture to show to some of the other devotees to get them to come. I came with my camera, a big movie camera, video camera, and I said, would you think you'd be, oh yeah, tell me, come on in. Very strange that I got to film in there when that, previous to this, it was just Swami, because otherwise they had never had so much as a picture in there before. So they feed them, and they wash their clothes. Needless to say, they were telling me, the devotees were telling me that the other people, the employees at the place, they just take the clothes and throw them in the washer. The devotees actually get the clothes by hand and clean out the things that really need to be cleaned out instead of just throwing it all in a washer and rinsing them out and giving them back to them. The devotees there. This is what love is to me. You know, somebody that's willing to do this, willing to be messy, and this looks like it's unpleasant, you know. But this is worthy of the side name, in my opinion. This is what Jagga says. Let's do something that's worthy of Swami's name. And they go out and they wash all their clothes. And then they take them and put them back on their clean bed. They put baby powder all over them, make them feel really comfortable and well fed, clean bed, clean sheets. Very lovingly put them back and take care of them. Worthy of the name, Sathya Sai Baba. Well, as we say in Hollywood, leave them wanting more rather than carry it on too far. I think that pretty much tells my story. Unless anybody had any kind of questions or anything, I'll let you go. It's getting late. I want to thank you so much, Simon.
On our behalf, I want to thank Brother Massey for that inspiring talk and video presentation.